Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Jacob Masters from Denison Railroad Depot Museum and the Museum of Clay Industry and Folk Art. I'm trying to finagle some first-class tickets for the Polar Express. Okay, so let's get on to Museum of Clay Industry and Folk Art. The Uhrichsville area, rich in clay.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Well, it's not just Uhrichsville, but Uhrichsville was like the king. So Tuscarawas County and, actually all of the surrounding counties have an abundance amount of clay underneath the soil. There's tons of clay in this area. So, you really, if you want to go back way in history, we're talking ancient Egyptians here, they have found a way to move water across, their fields. They irrigated. And then you start moving into, the 14, 15, 1600s in Europe where they had sewer systems. Well, they weren't exactly sanitary. So, people would just have their excrements in the streets. I mean, that's just what they did. So the clay industry really started booming in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. And they're the ones who started moving sewer, waste through the sewer pipe. And it was all done through clay. So in Tuscarawas County alone, we had over 32 clay manufacturing plants in the county alone. Tuscarawas County attested for 33% of all clay sewer pipe manufacturing.
Really?
33%, a third of the country's.
Do we know
pipe.
Why it all kind of settled there?
It just all. I don't. There really
all
isn't a good reason. I don't know. I know it's like everything leads to Uhrichsville, but like it is very odd how they did that. But it could be just because there's so much clay in this area. But that's how it came to be, and so it was a huge industry. Partnered with the railroad to ship it across the country. I mean, for them, it was the perfect tie-in.
So what years are we talking were like just boom years to live in this area?
Well, the biggest for both communities was probably between 1870 to about 1920, 1930. And then also it boomed again during World War II. And then the clay industry started dying off in the 50s and 60s, and so did the rail industry as well. But those were the heights, definitely between 1870 and about 1920.
So what it remains from those days, from those years? Do we have homes? Do we have some of the buildings?
Yep.
Everything
Homes,
from
buildings.
then?
A lot of for clay in particular, a lot of the plants are gone, but there are still a few left. There's Superior Clay in Uhrichsville. There's Bowerston Shale. There's Belden Brick and Sugar Creek. So there are a few plants still left, but most of that's gone. The rail industry, we only do Polar Express. That's the only train rides that we have. But our tracks are actually owned by the state of Ohio, and then they're leased by the Genesee and Wyoming. So a big global corporation that actually works on the tracks.
You just said shale. Now shale is back in business again. Are we talking about the same kind of shale?
Not exactly. No.
Okay, so
it's
oil and
called
gas.
Bowerston Shale. That's what it's called.
Different kind of shale?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's
that's
clay
a shame.
industry. It's a clay industry.
So what do we do with the clay now?
Well, they still do sewer, but a lot of people are moving to the PVC pipe, the plastic. It's more durable. It's not as pretty. Clay is definitely a little prettier. It's a little bit nicer of a product. But a lot of what they do with clay is a lot of decorative things. So they do a lot of chimney pipes, and they do a lot of Art Deco style things. Like Case Western Reserve, one of their buildings is completely done by Superior Clay, and clay. The outside adornments like lions' heads are done from clay. Like, it is amazing what they can do with it, because it's not like steel, it's not like wood. It's so pliable when it's in that stage, the stage, and then they fire it. I mean, it's amazing what they can do to it. And they can make it any color they want. They can fire it with, we do this tour of chemistry of clay where we talk about it and like what it's made of, and then what you can do to make it purple. You put manganese in the salting process, and then that makes it purple. So, I mean, all those kind of fun things. So,
do they do folk art
yes,
out of
they
the
do.
clay?
Mm-hmm. They still do. While this is the theory behind that. So while the clay workers were not busy making sewer pipe and chimney tops and those kind of things, they made folk art pieces. So I have seen owls and deers and trucks and mugs, and I mean anything you could possibly imagine. We have in the museum, we have monkeys. We have 3 monkeys, clay monkeys, why they chose monkeys, I don't know. But like they would make anything. So I mean, it's amazing what they did.
Who made these?
The clay workers, the people who worked in the.
They were on a 5, and they decided to put together some cool.
I mean, they
art.
had so much clay left over, and they were done. And I mean, it wasn't costing the companies anything. I mean, all they were doing was just making it on their off time or during a break, and then they would fire it. I mean, it doesn't cost anything to do that, so it was perfect for them.
So where do you find these? What happened to these things? Do people keep them and then pass them along, or you just found them somewhere?
A lot of both, actually. We found some, and some people who wanted to donate it to the museum. That happens with a lot of things. People will make something or get something, and then they'll give it back to a museum. That's usually what a lot of times that happens.
So take us to the Museum of Clay Industry and Folk Art. What do we find there?
So we have, of course, a lot of the history of the clay industry, where it started out. It started, again, in the 1870s, that was the first real big clay industry. And then you go around in time and how it ended, with collapse and then all of those things. So you get to see all different types of sewer pipes. Sewer pipe isn't the most attractive topic to talk about because we all know what goes through it. I mean, we all know. But again, it helped the country become more sanitary. I mean, before that time, like I said, people would just do their business in the street. And, that was not the right way to do it. Disease would run rampant. With the sewer pipe and the clay industry really stopped that from happening.
Oh,
so
yes, that would make a huge difference in civilization.
Huge difference. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we have an actual museum dedicated to this.
Yes.
I think it's fascinating that that's the big one, that this is the main thing. And then you're going to see pipes mostly?
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing pipes
lots
in the
of pipes and then the folk art pieces.
Okay, let's talk more about, is the museum divided up into different areas where here's the industrial part and then here's
it's all intermixed because
is that right?
Both the stories go hand in hand together. So we put them together.
What are your favorite pieces that you found there?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I have favorite pieces at all of our museums, but that one, that's a really tough one. I'm trying to think.
Top 2.
Oh my! Well, there's a couple of things. So one of my favorite is the wooden clay wheel. So it's where you can mold it. That's one of my favorite pieces. It's actually out, so you can actually touch it and see what it looks like. So it's like a normal potter's wheel, but it was made for clay specifically, so it's very cool to see. And then my other one is this giant, it's huge. I mean, it's like this big sewer pipe that sits in the middle of the room. And I mean, it's probably 2 feet in diameter, at least. So, I mean, it's huge. And so, I mean, you can imagine what stories it has. But,
yes.
I mean, it's just huge pieces of pipe.
That is
and
incredible.
Very heavy, too.
Now, you do some fun events there.
Yes, we do.
Let's talk about some of those.
Well, we always have a steak fry, which is our fun. It's a fun, nice event that we do. We also do a Queen's Tea. Now, this goes back to when we were. There was a clay festival. And there was always a queen. There was always a pageant, a Clay Week Queen. So we decided to have a Queen's Tea to kind of tie in the history. So we have tied in Disney the last couple of years with it as well, because everybody loves Disney. We all know that. And so this last year we did Under the Sea, and we did the Little Mermaid theme, and it was so much fun. So we, turned a local event venue into, literally like you're going under the sea. Seaweed hanging from the ceiling. All the tablecloths were blue to make it look like waves. I mean, it was so much fun. We had all the characters there. We had Ariel, and we had Flounder and Sebastian. I actually played Sebastian. It was hard to do the Jamaican accent. I'm telling you, it's not easy. And then they have a lunch that's provided by a great partner, Claymont Rehab, and they play games, and it's so much fun. Little girls dressed in their outfits.
Oh, yes.
They're so cute. It's amazing.
Oh, yes. So that was the Under the Sea one. That was last year.
Yes.
What are you planning for this year?
This next, 2018, we're going to be doing Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be fun. I can't wait.
Do you have a date for this?
We haven't done our 2018 calendar yet. We won't come out with that until August or September. But,
But
it'll be in April of 2018.
All right. So look ahead
Yes.
for next year about this time. Yep. To do Sleeping Beauty.
Yep.
Oh, my word. Okay. and I'm hearing you talk about clay. Is that, I should know the answer to this before I ask it, but is this where the Miss Clayland pageant came from?
Yes. Yes,
So
it is.
because I always wondered, where is Clayland?
Yes. Well, that's where it comes from. Yorksville is known as the clay capital of the world, also Clayland. And so that's where that pageant comes from. At the Depot Museum, we actually had an exhibit because it was their 60th anniversary 2 years ago of that pageant. And that's very important because in, was it 1977, Susan Perkins won Miss America, and she was originally a Miss Clayland. So.
She was also originally my college roommate.
Oh, see, that's amazing.
Is that a fun little fact?
That is fun.
Yes.
I did not know that.
To be going to college. Yeah, how depressing is that? You know, you're in college and your roommate is a future Miss America. Thank you very much. That happened to me. Yes.
That's awesome.
So, yes, and she did start as Miss Clayland and then went on to Miss Ohio. She was Miss Miami the year before that.
Oh,
then
was
Miss
she?
Clayland,
Okay.
then... Yes.
Well, that's good to know.
Isn't
I never knew that.
There you go.
That's fantastic.
Little trivia there for you. My goodness. What else do you have in our closing minutes as far as ways that you fund all of this? Because I know that's primary your business, right? That's what you are doing there.
Yes.
How do you make sure all of these stay funded?
Like I said, we have memberships. And you can be a member in multiple different ways.
Okay, sell us a membership right now.
Well, here's the thing about membership is that if you buy a membership, it's $20 for a family, and then it's $10 if you want to supersize it. And supersize it meaning that you can get into all the other museums as well. So you can buy a membership from any of the sites, Depot, Schönbrunn, Clay, doesn't matter. Then you get free admission for a year, to come anytime you want. You get discounted on a lot of events. Ticket prices are definitely discounted. And then you're also early to buy Polar Express tickets, which that is one of the biggest sellers
there
for
you go.
anything that we have. That is the reason, one of the main reasons why people buy memberships to the museum is because they want Polar Express tickets, so they get to get them early. Not a discount, but you do get to buy them early, which is in itself just fine. And then, you get discount in the gift shop. You're the first to get information on events, and you're first to get our calendar of events. You're also, like I said, you get discount in the gift shop, and you also get access to our newsletter. I mean, there's so many benefits. And again, it's only $20 for a family, and then $10 more to supersize it. So you can get, Schönbrunn and Clay, or if you buy it from the Clay Museum, you get Schönbrunn Depot, however you want to do it. So
I just don't know why anybody wouldn't want to just automatically have a membership to all of these just to be able to do all the fun family things that you do. Remind us website, phone number, and everything else where we can
for
do
the big
this.
For all of it, I would go to the Depot's website because again, it's the central hub. And, it's DenisonDepot.org. That's 2 N's, not one. There's a whole story behind why we have two.
It's not
and
Denison the college.
Exactly.
It's Denison the town.
Exactly. And you can also call us at 740-922-6776, and we also are on Facebook. All 3 sites are on Facebook.
All right. Jacob Masters, final thoughts. Just tell us what is best about all of this for you.
Oh, my. It's just an amazing place to work. It's an amazing place to be. We have such a great staff. We have great communities, wonderful communities. New Philly for Schönbrunn, Yorksville for Clay, and Denison for the Depot. I mean, they're all great communities, great public leaders to work with. I mean, we couldn't do it without those communities, those, patrons. We couldn't do it without them. And they're just great people. It's a great place to be. So.
Well, we look forward to all of these events coming up, and I think we will head to that website and find out, get them on the calendar. And I'm not kidding. Get those Polar Express tickets early.
Yep.
When did you say for members they
can buy them now if they're members.
Now.
Yep.
And I wouldn't do
wait.
that.
I wouldn't
don't
wait. If you want to buy a membership, you can buy a membership and then buy tickets. I mean, we can do all of that in the same transaction. So.
Okay, so that would be the reason to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then July 1st for the general public, they go on sale as well. Well, again, Jacob Masters, thank you so much for all you bring to our community.
Well, thank you for having me here.